What's up everyone? I'm here today. We are talking about Xbox handheld. What's going on with it? When is it coming out? And can we even get this thing soon? We have so many questions about the Xbox handheld, and one question that has been asked the most is why would Microsoft even make a handheld when they do and even really support their existing consoles fully? We have some answers for that. I also want to say this is based around the fact that we think a handheld will come at some point. There's nothing official or concrete yet. All of this is speculation. So do me a favor, hit that like button if you're enjoying yourself, and let's get right into it. Okay, so first things first. If you've been following, you know that we've had reports from not one but multiple sources telling us that yes, the Xbox handheld is in development. And just before that, we heard from Jeff Grubb that there were issues with the controller, and that's why we haven't heard anything since. But that was all cleared up and we have heard nothing since then. And it makes you wonder, why are we hearing so much about it now? Well, it's because of what's going on in the world right now. You see, Microsoft and Xbox have a lot of game studios under them, and those game studios work on exclusives for Xbox and PC, but more recently, it seems like they've been working on mobile games. Microsoft wants to be everywhere and they want to reach everyone. They've already got a streaming service, which is a big focus for them, but it doesn't seem to be doing much, and people still want to play their exclusives on console. And while they could add them to PC, a lot of people still aren't ready to play on PC. It's just too hard to get into. This is why we think that Microsoft is making the Xbox handheld so that people who don't have an Xbox or a PC powerful enough to play their games can play them on a small scale. Now, the Xbox Series S isn't that powerful, but it does get the job done. But imagine being able to take that and make it smaller so you can play anywhere, anytime. It's almost like you're playing on a portable Xbox, but it's actually a handheld. This could change the way people look at gaming forever. And I think that's exactly what Microsoft is aiming for. But how would this help Microsoft? Well, it would help them in so many ways. One of them being they can use Game Pass on it. So you can pay monthly and get access to a ton of games. And unlike Sony, they don't have to sell a bunch of physical copies to make money. They get a steady stream of income. It could also bring back the old Xbox Live Arcade days where people would pay a few bucks for indie titles or older games. That's something that hasn't been happening lately since they don't really focus on that anymore. But with a device like this, it could bring that back. Imagine having a whole library of games for a cheap price and then paying extra for the ones you want. That would actually be pretty cool. And it would also fix the issue with people pirating games because they couldn't afford them. Now, we're not saying that piracy is okay, but we understand why people do it. Sometimes these games cost hundreds of dollars and people simply can't afford to buy every single one. Imagine buying Halo Infinite and then after that you have no money until next month. You might be tempted to pirate other games and try them out. But with a subscription service, you can play everything without having to pay for it. In fact, you could even borrow it and share it with your friends and siblings so you can both play it without owning it. That's kind of cool, right? But it's also going to be good for Microsoft in one other way: marketing. Think about it. Every time someone takes out their handheld console, whether it's a Switch or a Steam Deck, they're showing off what's on the screen to everyone around them. It's almost like free advertising. And the more people see it, the more they'll want it. So if you think about it, Microsoft could make a ton of money off of this. But what about Sony? How would they compete? Well, they can't compete with an Xbox handheld. They simply can't. You think that Microsoft will match the price? No, they won't. In fact, they'll probably make it cheaper than the Switch, which is $300. Microsoft knows that Sony doesn't want to get into a console war and lower prices. So they'll go even lower, maybe $200 or maybe $150. The only way Sony would beat it is by adding PSVR functionality. But that would require people to buy VR headsets, and that's way too expensive for casual gamers. The only way Sony would be able to sell that is by lowering the price of the console, but then they wouldn't be able to profit as much. Microsoft is gonna kill the console market if they do this, but it's ultimately up to the people. If they want to buy it, then they will. But let's talk about specs for a second. How powerful will this thing be? Well, according to our sources, it's going to be a little less powerful than the Series S. This means that it won't be able to play every Xbox game, but it should be able to play most of them. It should also be able to play the games that are on the Switch, but maybe not in 4K, but that's okay. Most people aren't going to care about 4K when they're replaying on a screen that's this small. They're just going to want to play games, and it looks like Microsoft understands this. Now, I don't want to throw Game Pass at you again, but it's very likely that this handheld is going to be focused around that. It could also focus on cloud gaming, but that requires a fast internet connection, which a lot of people don't have. So it's unlikely that they'll go that route. Instead, they'll probably make it similar to the Switch, but with the ability to connect to the internet and download newer games that aren't backwards compatible. The old Xbox Live arcade games will also be on it, but they'll probably look better than the Switch version since the hardware is a little bit newer. I think that this is a great move for Microsoft, and I think that it will be very successful. And here's why. People love the Nintendo Switch and they love it because of the exclusives. Even though the hardware is weak, people don't care because the games are fun. And that's what Microsoft needs, fun games. Games that are easy to pick up and play. Not every game needs to be Halo or Forza. Some of them can be small and simple, but still fun. Take a look at Minecraft. It's probably one of the best-selling games ever and it's been on pretty much everything. It's easy to pick up and play and fun. This is the perfect example of a game that would be great on a handheld. So yeah, I think that this is a fantastic idea and I can't wait to see what they do with it. I also think that it would be a great console to develop for since the hardware is so new and different. Developers could come up with some awesome ideas and show off how good their games are. This could be the perfect console for developers to show off their skills and I think that it would lead to some amazing games in the future. I also think that it would help push the industry forward. You see, the Switch has been out for a while and it's starting to show its age. It's a very old console at this point and the hardware is starting to struggle. A new console with a new architecture could help push the industry forward and show us what is possible with new technology. Maybe we'll even see 120 FPS or maybe 4K on a small scale, who knows? But the possibilities are really endless with this console and I think that it would be great for the industry as a whole. So that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you think about the Xbox handheld down below. Do you think it's gonna be powerful enough? Do you think it's gonna be fun? Or do you think that it's just a big mistake? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you're new, consider subscribing. And if you're still watching this, you're awesome. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.